Hi everyone, welcome back to How to Train Your Gavin. I have some exciting middle grade books to show you today that are coming out at the very start of 2022. I cannot believe it is that time of year again where I talk about new releases on the horizon, especially since I will be talking about the books that come out in January 2022, February 2022 and March 2022. And of course these are all going to be middle grade. I also decided not to have a hot drink while I've got this on because I could end up spilling that, but fortunately I have a nice latte and I have it in a container with a lid and a straw, so I definitely do not spill it. Yay! So if you do not know, I usually do a quarterly middle grade anticipated releases video, so I do it every 3 months where I talk about the next 3 months middle grade releases that I'm personally excited for. I do have more that is coming out that I am pretty excited for too, but I've narrowed it down to 24, and I do have a link to a spreadsheet that I have created that I do every year with the middle grade releases coming out each month. It isn't an exact list, it doesn't have everything on it, but it does have quite a lot on there. But if you want to check it out, please feel free to do so. I also put out a tweet about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, asking middle grade authors if they have a book coming out in January, February, March, to respond to the tweet, link their book, plug themselves, and yeah, that was just in case I'd forgotten something really important. And there were a couple that I had forgotten about that I have added to this video, and other ones I have added to the spreadsheet, so I will also link that tweet down below so you can check out the replies, check out what the authors said and what they've plugged. Do check it out. Honestly, there's going to be so much more there. So this video is going to be split in 2 months, so I will do January, February, March, and then within each month it will be in release date order, and then within the release date it will be in order by author surname, alphabetically. Sorry if I made that more confusing than it should be. I do this every time, but I can never explain it very well. On January 6th, we have Harley Hitch and the Missing Moon by Vashti Hardy, illustrated by George Ermos. This is a sequel to Harley Hitch and the Iron Forest. This series follows Harley and her robot dog Sprocket and her best friend Cosmo as they go on these incredible adventures in the world of Inventia. It's a world where science rules and technology grows in the forest. So the secret that will be coming out on January 6th involves the moon going missing and how that is speeding up time, things going wrong. And what I love about Vashti Hardy's works is that there is always kind of a moral to be learned, especially when it's to do with nature and how we treat the planet. So it's essentially a really fantastic bit of a younger side of middle grade, and I love and adore Vashti Hardy, so of course I was going to shout this one out first. Also on January 6th is A Thunder of Monsters by S.A. Patrick, and this is the 3rd book in the Songs of Magic series. The Songs of Magic series started with A Darkness of Dragons, and then A Vanishing of Griffins came out last year after about a 3-year break, and then we have the 3rd book, which I don't think is going to be the final book. There might be more, I don't know, but it looks so good. The cover looks amazing. I loved the 1st book so much, but I need to reread it because I tried reading the 2nd one last year. No, it's this year. It's still 2021. I'm getting ahead of myself. I tried reading it earlier this year and I couldn't really remember a lot of what happened in the 1st one, so I feel like I do have to go back to the 1st one. But essentially it is set in a world where there are pipers and they play their flutes and they play magic songs. There is a forbidden spell that our main character, what's his name, Patch? I think his name was Patch Brightwater. He plays this forbidden song. He ends up going to jail where the Pied Piper of Hamelin is. The Pied Piper of Hamelin kidnapped so many children and is a bad person, but there is also a Dragograph, a young girl who was cursed to be a rat. There was so much adventure and magic in the 1st one and I loved it when I first read it, but I do need that reread so I can continue on the series. Also on January 6th is The Tower at the End of Time by Amy Sparks. This one is a sequel to The House at the Edge of Magic, where we followed Nine, who is an orphan, and they pickpocket this house ornament from someone, but this house ornament grows to be life-size and it turns out to be a bit of a higgledy-piggledy house where there is like magic, wizards, trolls, everything. Now the house and the inhabitants are under this extraordinary spell that Nine has to try and break. So I don't know what happens in the 2nd book. I don't really want to say what happens in the 2nd book in case it spoils anything that happens at the end of the 1st book. So we're going to leave it at that. And also on January 6th, and I think it came out in America last year, is Room to Dream by Kelly Yang. This one is coming out in the UK on January 6th. And I'm so excited because I loved Front Desk and 3 Keys. I thought they were fantastic. It followed Mia and her family who immigrated from China, where they end up running their own motel. They face so many trials and tribulations, but it's just such a fantastic middle grade contemporary series, although it is set in the 90s, so it's like, it's contemporary for the 90s, and to be honest, I still live in the 90s. Like, I'm a 90s kid, so it's contemporary to me. Would you consider 90s historical? I guess, because it's still in the past, but yeah, I don't know, I just call it contemporary. But Mia and her family are gonna be going on holiday to China in this one, I believe, so that's gonna be really interesting to see, and I just can't wait because I absolutely adore Caddy Yang's writing style, and also the character of Mia I absolutely adore, so yeah, I'm excited for that one. Out on January 25th is The Keeper by Guadalupe Garcia McCall. Apparently this one is based on a terrifying true story, and I haven't really read any middle grades that are based on a true story, so that instantly intrigues me and also scares me a little bit. I also originally thought this was coming out in March, but it's actually coming out January 25th according to Amazon. So this one follows James, and he and his family move from Texas to Oregon, and he starts to get letters from somebody called The Keeper. It's someone who claims to be watching him and someone who is after young blood. James unfortunately is a bit of a prankster, so nobody believes him when he tells them about this. So now James and his sister Ava need to try and get to the bottom of this before they become the neighborhood's next missing children, because they have a history of children going missing. I love scary stories, especially middle grade scary stories, so that sounds awesome. I can't wait. Now there are most likely more books that are coming out in January, but those are the only ones that I was picking out and personally really excited for. But again, there are more in the spreadsheet below and in the comments on that tweet, so do check it out. Now there is quite a few in February and March, so let's get into February then. On February 1st is Never After The Stolen Slippers by Melissa de la Cruz, and I just read the first Never After book for the Goodreads Choice Awards shortlist, and I have that vlog already done. It's uploaded now. Well, for my patrons they have early access, but by the time this video goes up it should be available for everyone, so I will link it down below. And if you want to check out my thoughts on Never After in the other Goodreads Choice Awards shortlist for the middle grades and children's category, then do check that out. I really enjoyed the first one, and it's made me excited to read the second one, which I didn't realize was coming out so soon. Now the Never After series, the first book anyway, followed Philomena, who she is obsessed with this book series called Never After, and it's like this fantasy series, and at the end of the 12th book there is a huge cliffhanger, and she's desperately waiting for the 13th book to come. So on the day the 13th book is supposed to come out, she goes to the store to buy it, only to find out that it's never going to be published because the author is missing or dead. A character from the Never After book ends up kind of coming across Philomena and takes her to Never After, and it's just filled with so many fairy tale kind of imageries, and it's such a great fantasy series, at least from the first book, and it was just so fun and exciting to read. So highly recommended, and I can't wait to read the sequel now. Also out on February 1st is Each of Us a Universe by Jean Zulik Ferrulo and Dengo Gladys Molello. All it says about this one is that it is about two girls who go on an adventure to the top of a mountain and learn about each other, themselves, and the magic friendship can bring. So yeah, it follows Cal, who meets Rosin, and they have both been through so much, but both girls want to get to Mount Meteorite, or at least the peak of Mount Meteorite, where it is said that magic happens and things that are impossible happen. And these two girls, I think, end up working together to reach the peak of this mountain. And honestly, it just sounds so like, I feel like it's not going to be outwardly magical. I don't even think it's going to be magical. I don't think it's like really fantasy. I just think it's going to be so heartfelt and metaphorical and so gorgeous. So I'm excited for this book. Also out on February 1st is City Spies, The Forbidden City by James Ponti. And I still haven't read the first two books yet, but again, it's a series that I'm genuinely excited to read. It's something that I haven't really read before. It's very espionage, middle grade espionage. Essentially, it follows 5 kids from all across the world doing missions and solving these crimes, these mysteries, and each book seems to be set in a different place, so it just looks like so good. But yeah, I'm excited for that one, even though I haven't read the first two just yet. On February 3rd is The Secret of Haven Point by Lisette Orton. This sounds so good. Honestly, I just stumbled across it when I was doing my research. Like, I go on the Barnes & Noble website, I go on the Amazon website, Waterstone's website, and I just like check out, you know, release dates and things. And so this one follows Alpha, who washed up beside a remote lighthouse and was raised by a mermaid. It says here that the lighthouse is a ramshackle home for any disabled person who needs somewhere to belong, and the children of Haven Point who live there call themselves the Recklings. But then Alpha spots a strange light ahead and believes that the Recklings are going to be discovered by outsiders. It just sounds so good. It sounds so good. And Elle McNichol blurbed this book, so I think it's going to be fantastic. Also on February 3rd is highly anticipated 4th book in the Widdershins Adventures, and that is A Storm of Sisters by Michelle Harrison. When this cover got revealed, I shrieked. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Cannot wait to read it. It, again, follows the Widdershins, and they are three sisters who are a little bit magical. They have magical objects, and they've been on different adventures in each book. It's just such a fun time. Like, I cannot describe the series very well because I always end up describing the first book, but then the first book and the second and third book are just so different to the first book, so it's kind of hard to describe, but it is essentially three sisters, the Widdershins, going on adventures in this magic, and it's just fantastically written, so atmospheric and beautiful. I love it so much. So apparently the plot of this one is about a ghostly highwayman who haunts the streets of Little Nipping, and the Widdershin sisters must protect their granny at all costs. Oh, I'm so excited. I loved literally every single book so far. Like, I've loved every single one. All of them have been 5 stars so far. This one looks just as good. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. Also on February 3rd is turning out to be an expensive day because we have Sabotage and the Solar Express by MJ Leonard and Sam Sedgman, the 5th book in the Adventures on Train series, and it is illustrated by Eliza Pecanelli. And again, I love the series so much. I have adored every single book so far. I cannot get over it. And we follow Hal and his uncle Nat, who essentially solves crimes on trains. And it's just so wholesome and cozy and all of the great feels. Honestly, I just love it so much. I'm already so excited for all the 2022 releases. Middle grade in 2022 is going to be phenomenal, okay? I think I said this about 2021, and it turned out it was. So I might be right again, and I think I will be. But yeah, this is the 5th book where there is apparently sabotage on the Solar Express. So a billionaire has actually invited Hal and Uncle Nat onto the Solar Express, which honestly I keep thinking, the Solar Express, you know, like Polar Express. But during the journey, they discover that the Solar Express has been sabotaged. And it says it's a heart-stopping, action-packed thrill ride across the Australian outback. Oh god, I'm so excited. Each book again has been set in different places, and we've just been on a ride. Honestly, 5 books in and we're still going strong. So I'm just so excited. Honestly, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. It's gonna be so much fun. I just can't wait. Oh, I just can't wait for Sabotage on the Solar Express. Oh, right. Oh, and then another one. Oh god, this is... Oh, all of them are coming out. Okay, February 3rd, Like a Charm by Elle McNichol. And this is Elle's foray into fantasy. She has done contemporary, nailed it. She's done science fiction, nailed it. And now, fantasy, she's gonna nail it again. Third time is a charm. Like a Charm, cannot wait. So this one is set in Edinburgh, and we follow Ramya, who can see magical creatures that inhabit Edinburgh where no one else can. She is plunged into adventure when she needs to find out the secrets of the hidden folk, and there are 3 words of warning from her grandmother, and that is beware the sirens. Beware them. At this point, I'm like, is there anything Elle McNichol can't do? Because at this point, she's a writing goddess, quite honestly. Oh, next one, I'm so excited for this one too. It's The Bird Singers by Eve Wysocki Morris, and I do have a proof copy of it, which I'm going to try and prioritize reading early next year. Cover of it is stunning. The plot of it sounds intriguing. Essentially, it follows Laia and her sister Izzy, and they have just lost their grandmother. She died, and she's like grieving her loss. Their mother has dragged them to a rain-soaked cottage miles and miles out from the Lake District, and there is like strange whistling at night. There are bird feathers everywhere, and there are murmurings of a shadowed woman in the forest. And I think it's just like a kind of adventure into finding out these mysteries that are surrounding this cottage. Honestly, it just sounds so good. The next one, February 17th, The Map Makers by Tamsin Merchant, illustrated by Paula Escobar. The sequel to The Hat Makers, which I absolutely adored. I've read The Hat Makers twice now. That's how much I loved it. I read it as a proof copy, and then I read it physically and listened along to the audiobook at the same time, which is narrated by Tamsin Merchant, by the way. It's incredible. And I just love this story so much in the way it's written. It follows Cordelia, who lives with the Hat Makers, her family, and they create these magical hats that have magical properties, and when you wear them, it does a different effect. It is bigger than that, but essentially, along with the other maker families in London, they have to make peace clothes for the princess before they end up going to war with France. Not just that though, Cordelia's father is missing from a shipwreck that just happened, so we have that added mystery there too. And honestly, it was just so wonderful. I'm most likely going to reread the first book, literally just before the second book comes out, because I'm just so excited for it, honestly. I don't mind reading it for a 3rd time. I genuinely don't. I don't really want to say what The Map Makers is about because I don't want to spoil what happens in the first book, but just know that the cover's gorgeous and the story inside is likely to be gorgeous as well. So now on to March, and on March 1st, we actually have a graphic novel. I've actually put a graphic novel in, and I need to read more graphic novels in 2022. But this one is Wingbearer by Marjorie Liu and Tenny Isakanian, and I am rather excited by this because, one, the cover drew me in. I saw it on the Barnes & Noble website, and I was like, ooh, hello. So this one follows Zuli, who was raised by magical bird spirits in the Great Tree. But there is a sinister force that threatens the tree, and along with her guardian owl, Frowley, I love that, she must get to the root of it. And it sounds so magical. It sounds a little bit Owl House-ish, and I love Owl House, but I don't know, it just sounds so great, and I am going to try and read more graphic novels in 2022, because it just sounds so awesome. It really does. On March 3rd, Rainbow Grey, Eye of the Storm by Laura Ellen Anderson. I am so excited for this book. I cannot wait for this book. This is a sequel to Rainbow Grey, which came out earlier this year, and again, incredible. Please check it out. I love it so much. So Rainbow Grey follows Ray Grey, who lives in the Weatherlands, and pretty much everyone, or almost everyone, has like weather magic, except Ray. Ray doesn't have weather magic, and she ends up taking a forbidden expedition to Earth, and she comes across rainbow magic, and she is imbued with that magic and becomes Rainbow Grey. The first book had some plot threads that I think will be incredible going forward in the second book, and so many different things happening that I'm excited for. Also, the plot of this one sounds fantastic. So all of the cloud animals go missing, including Nim, who is Rainbow Grey's exploding cloud cat. There is a magical storm approaching, and Ray has to save everyone, essentially. So it sounds so exciting. I cannot wait. It's going to be incredible. And again, it's illustrated by Laura Ellen Anderson, and the best illustrations ever. So let's hope Gusty Gavin makes an appearance in the second book, just like he did in the first one. Also out on March 3rd is The Last Firefox by Leigh Newberry, and I have been excited for this one for a while. I follow Leigh on Twitter, and I have seen the progress of this book, and it's just beautiful. So this one has same-sex parents in it, and I honestly love more books with LGBTQ plus representation. So this one I think is going to be so heartwarming and so lovely. So we follow Charlie, who gets badly bullied, and he ends up becoming guardian to a fox. But it doesn't turn out to just be any fox, it turns out to be a firefox. Unfortunately, because the firefox is so rare and so sought after, there is a sinister hunter from another world trying to get this firefox. So Charlie has to protect this firefox with his whole entire life, and honestly, it sounds cute, but also sounds a little bit scary, but also cute. Like, mainly cute. It sounds fab. And this one's illustrated by Laura Catalan. I cannot wait to see if it's illustrated inside as well, because I bet you the illustrations of this firefox is going to be so cute. Also on March 3rd is Cameron Battle and the Hidden Kingdoms by Jamar J. Perry. So this one is described as a middle grade fantasy that's inspired by West African and Igbo mythology, and we essentially follow Cameron, who has this book that's passed down through the generations of his family, and it's up to Cameron and his friends to bridge the barrier and save the world with a hidden kingdom that's in there. I don't know a whole lot about it, but it does sound fantastic, and I cannot wait to read that one. And it also says it might be a duology, so piqued my interest. The last one that's out on March 3rd, although there are more on the spreadsheet, don't worry, is Furthermore by Darren Simpson. And I am excited for this one. The cover is gorgeous. This one follows Brennan ever since his sister died. He has found solace in a place called Furthermore, which is a imagined world with mechanical trees and clockwork creatures, animals, where his sister is still alive. But then the mysterious Featherly comes by and shakes everything up. So it sounds really good. It also sounds pretty heartbreaking as well, not gonna lie. But I am sure Darren Simpson has done a fantastic job with this one, and I can't wait to add it to my list. On March 17th is Orphans of the Tide, Eternity Engine by Stuart Murray. This is the third book in the Orphans of the Tide series. I don't know if it's the final book. To be honest, I didn't realize there was a third book coming until I was making this video, and I saw this on the Waterstones website, so I was like, but I still need to read the second one. But the first Orphans of the Tide book followed the last city on Earth. Everywhere else has been flooded, and the entire city is scared of the enemy, and they are scared of the enemy returning. And one day this boy washes up on shore in the belly of a whale, and Ellie, the main character, has to try and save him because she doesn't believe he is the enemy, whereas everyone else does. There's so much more to it, and there are so many twists and turns. It's a fantastic, fantastic book. I enjoyed it so much. I might wait until the third book comes out before I read the second book. I'm still excited for it, and the cover is gorgeous again, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. All right, the next one also comes out March 17th. It's called Yesterday, Crumb and the Storm in a Teacup by Andy Saga. Now, when I did that tweet asking authors to plug their quarter one middle grade releases, I got a response from Andy Saga, and honestly, as soon as I saw this, I was like, okay. So Andy said, my debut, Yesterday Crumb and the Storm in a Teacup, is out March 17th with Hachette. Tells the story of a girl who finds a magical tea shop and becomes apprenticed to the tea witch who lives there. yes. Like, yes, absolutely 100%, yes, I'm excited for it. So that one is coming out, yeah, March 17th, and yeah, he summed it up really well. It says it's going to be the first in a new fantasy series, so there will be more. Also, Yesterday Crumb has fox ears. So I'm loving that we are getting more foxes in our middle grades this year. Last year it was bears, and this year it seems to be foxes. So I'm not mad about it. But she is taken in by Miss Dumpling, the flamboyant tea witch. Yesterday is introduced to a magical walk-in tea shop filled with fantastical characters, a flying teapot turtle called Pascal, and powerful spells in every teacup. Oh, yes! Yes, absolutely, 100%. I want it now. So excited for this next one as well. On March 17th, we have Dragon Rising by Katie and Kevin Sang. This is the 4th book in the Dragon Realm series, which follows 4 kids who end up discovering these dragons in a mountain and bonding with them and getting magical powers from that. And they have been on some incredible adventures so far, and every book so far has been fantastic. I've been really enjoying this series. The first arc, kind of concluded in book 3. However, I'm still so excited for what the future brings with this series, and I cannot wait to see what Dragon Rising does. Like, I have no clue what's going to happen. I'm just excited for it. It's going to be a fab time, and hopefully the best one yet. Every book so far has gotten better than the last, so I have every faith that Dragon Rising will also be one of the best books in the series. And then finally for this video, on March 31st, from the author of Me, My Dad and the End of the Rainbow, comes The Secret Sunshine Project by Benjamin Dean. Genuinely, again, I know I've said this about every book, but I'm genuinely so excited for this book. It's going to be incredible, fantastic, amazing. So this one follows Bea, and her family are like very sickly cute and always like happy. They end up going to Pride, but a year later, Grey Cloud follows their family. Bea's father's died, and then the family have no choice but to pack their bags and go and live with Gran. Bea's big sister Riley takes the news very hard, but Bea is determined to bring life and colour back to the family. She also plans on bringing Pride to the countryside. However, the village mayor is determined to not let that happen. Honestly, I adored Me, My Dad and the End of the Rainbow, and it's going to be hard for Benjamin Dean to top that, but I have every faith in him to do this, and it just sounds incredible. So incredible. Cannot wait to read it. Waterstones have an exclusive Rainbow Edge for this one, so you know where you want to pre-order that. I'm going to leave a link down in the description box. I'm also going to leave pre-order links to all of them that I can find. Some of these releases were American, so I will leave a link to the Barnes & Noble website for the American releases, and Waterstones or independent bookshops for the UK releases. We'll see how much my description box can take, because it does have a word count limit. So, but yes, those were the books that I'm really excited for in January, February and March. And if you're wondering where Amari and the Night Brothers sequel is, Amari and the Great Game, it comes out in April. It was supposed to come out, I think, either February or March, but it's been pushed back to April, so that will be in the next most anticipated video, and that's why it's not yet. Otherwise, it would be on this list, because I'm so excited for that one. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please leave this video a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below, let me know which middle grade books you're excited for that are coming out in January, February and March 2022. Are there any that I mentioned in this video that you're super excited about? Let me know, let's chat. And I will hopefully see you in the next video. Bye!